right.
What you
William, let me ask you a question.
got? Okay.
Have you ever driven to your destination, wherever you're going, church, home, the store, to not know how you got there? Like you
Oh,
just
all the time.
got there and you're like, fuck,
100%.
how did I get here?
Yeah. Especially when I was younger.
Yeah, that still happens to me sometimes. I'm
Oh,
like,
yeah. Oh, yeah.
like it's kind of freaky, right? Like it's
This
like,
Bass Pro? How did I get here?
yeah,
Yeah.
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 Like there's some times where I'm like, I joke around, but the other times I'm like, holy crap. And
Oh,
like,
yeah.
I wasn't tired. Like I wasn't falling asleep. Like I
Right.
just got here. Well, anyway, all right. Netradine. What is going on, everybody? Ryan Leary, William Tinkup here with another episode of The Barf. This is a look back at the week that was so you can be prepared for the week that is. We're back, William.
I know. I know. It's
We're
like we
back.
never left, actually.
It kind of feels that way. It kind of feel
Ah,
every time I see you, you're sitting in this same chair.
I know. Same paintings. I got to move them around. I got to do
Yeah.
something different there. Got to.
Big happenings today.
Oh, yeah.
My Philadelphia Eagles are getting ready to trounce,
Trump,
trounce
Trunts,
Mark
Trunts.
Pfeffer's Washington Commanders.
Redskins. It's okay.
Yeah, I know. It's still difficult to say Commanders. It doesn't even sound right,
You know,
to
during
be
the
honest.
SAP event during this past week, another Eagles fan, she said Commanders, and I literally it didn't register for me
Yeah,
for
yeah,
a minute. 'Cause I'm like,
yeah.
who? And I'm
Mm,
like, it's the Redskins. And I've actually had someone call me on this before. Like, you can't call them Redskins. I'm like, okay, so let's talk through this.
let's talk through
Uh,
history.
a, I'm a member of the Cherokee Nation, so I'm actually
Yeah.
Indian. Two, I have a master's degree in American Indian Studies. If anyone on the planet can fucking call them the
You
Redskins,
qualify.
I can. So I'm not going to call them the Commanders or Commandos or whatever
Yeah,
the fuck they're called.
Commandos.
Not
Well,
going to
look,
do that.
you call them whatever the hell you want this week.
Beat them.
They are not going forward. Although I'm kind of feeling like the Chiefs are going to go forward, but I would love to see an Eagles Buffalo Bills Super Bowl,
That would
and
be cool.
that would be a great game. But it's going to be a tight game this week.
It
I'm
is.
just
Their
saying.
quarterback's badass.
Yes, he is. He is. I don't buy this. I don't buy this thing. You're a rookie. You can't win. You can't play in a big
Mm,
game. This guy is good, man. They
he's
they
really
did
good.
one thing right, and this is the guy that's right. But
They've
Jaden isn't Jalen.
the the Reds again. It's the same thing with the Cowboys.
Hmm.
They got rid of a dysfunctional owner,
Hmm.
and then they brought in some professionals. And in bringing in professionals, they worked the all like their first 4 rounds of their draft last year are all starters.
Hmm.
And then they went onto the free agent market and got a bunch of talent.
Yeah.
It's not shocking how they're good.
Hmm. No, no, no. They're gonna be. It'll be a tough game. I'm gonna call the. I hate saying this. 27-24 Birds.
Yeah, I could go with that. I,
Ideally, it's like 27-7.
yeah,
But we're
who's
gonna
it's
go be
y'all have
realistic.
home. Y'all have it's a home game, yeah.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Hoping for terrible weather. I mean, they have terrible weather. Y'all are like 2 hours from each other, so it's not that big a deal.
No.
However, terrible weather
Mm,
that then lessens the throwing game.
yeah. Well,
And
either way you look at it, it's a Birds win.
I don't.
So we
Again, I
gotta
know drives you crazy, but I don't hate that.
we gotta hustle to get this done so I can get in position to
Oh, 100%.
eat my wings.
All
So
right, let's do it. All right, do not look at ChatGPT when I tell you this.
okay.
Okay. So between 2020 and 2023, with the S&P 500 executives, what would you think the increase would be for non-white share of executives? Like the increase between 20 and 2023.
20 and 23.
Yeah, well,
I'm
yeah,
gonna
2020,
go
2023.
34%.
That'd be 5.3%.
Wow. I thought I was actually targeting a low number saying that.
Uh-uh. No. So I had the exact same. This is at the Wall Street Journal, so you can go take a look at it there, read more about it. It actually is fascinating on some level. I'm not sure why I thought it would be double digits like you. I guess maybe that's hope. I hope that it would be.
I mean, we're
Uh,
caring and empathetic humans.
100%. I'm guessing that all the DEI programming and investments over those years helped. I'm hoping, again, that it helped other levels, entry level, mid level, but it doesn't look like it impacted the executive level, especially
Mm.
for the S&P 500. But that is a 5.3. That's an ant bite.
Yeah,
That is not a good thing. So
yeah.
anyhow, go read the article because it's great journalism, and I think for those that are pro DEI, they're going to be their hearts are going to be broken. Those that are say anti DEI, they're going to look at it and say, yeah, no one cares. So
There you go.
depending on your perspective, so to speak.
All right. All right. So I got one here.
All right, bring it.
Stripe.
Yeah,
This is a funny one. This one cracks me up.
you gonna try and make it through without laughing?
So it's funny, but it's not. It's not funny because 300 people were affected by a layoff, right? So we'll just get that out.
Mm-hmm.
So that's never good. Mostly in ops and product roles.
Oh wow,
But 300 people, that's a
legit.
sizable cut to Stripe. But how they did it, this isn't like, oh, let's do everything over Zoom. Like these guys, they said it was a mistake. Okay. They
Mm-hmm.
sent cartoons to the employees in the email, in the memo, as they called it, for the
Cartoons
layoffs.
like Garfield.
No, of a duck. Of a duck. Like, what the fuck? So, dude, this redefines tone deaf. This is stupidity at its finest, right
Dude,
here.
I could see the humor in it though. If you got laid off, it's because you didn't duck.
Now, but wait, there's more.
Oh yeah.
Cha-ching! There's more. Impacted staff were also sent the incorrect termination date in the email.
Oh,
So not only did they get a duck, they got the wrong get out of here date.
that's horrible on so many levels. Now, for
As
context sake, Stripe has, I think, they have about 11,000 employees.
yeah,
So 300 of 11,000 is
sizable.
not really. So, but it's 300 human beings were impacted.
Mm-hmm.
That's really what the important part. They're impacted in both ways. You get a duck, and you got the wrong date.
I mean,
Okay, it doesn't matter if that was just 20 people of
it's
11,000.
yes,
It's just the fact that it happened.
yeah.
Someone should take better care of those things.
Yeah,
So,
yeah, you don't get to make these mistakes as an
uh,
executive. I don't
no,
think this
should
was
you?
humor. I don't think this
No,
was trying to be funny. I think this was potentially
this isn't a
being
time.
funny prior to it going out, and then, oh
Yeah,
shit,
yeah,
we
yeah, yeah.
sent
An
this out.
internal bit.
Yeah,
Yeah.
and
Sit
then
around like, hey, why
yeah,
don't we put ducks in it?
yeah. Oh look,
Hell
we got a
yeah.
bunch of lame ducks. Ha ha! Like these are the losers, right? I get it, right? There's
And,
the humor, the dark humor in the back, and they forgot
and
to
someone
remove it.
hit play.
Whatever, man. Is what
Oh,
it is. Sorry,
oh, that,
guys, but
that
you gotta do
hurts.
better.
All right, Master agrees to pay $26 million class action settlement in a race and gender discrimination lawsuit.
Hmm.
So this is actually New York Times. So you can go and take a look at it and read the article, etc. So the company was accused of underpaying 7,500 female, Black, Hispanic U.S. employees compared to their male white colleagues doing the same work. So let all that kind of set in.
Hmm.
I don't understand how this happens in 2025. Like, I just don't. I
Yeah.
mean, again, this has probably been take 2 years getting it all
Still,
kind of negotiated out. Like, okay, but this isn't the 1800s
no.
or even 1900s. Like, these are the these are same positions. You're paying one group of people more than another group of people.
Yeah,
Twenty
and
six million
there.
dollars.
It's not based on skills. Like this isn't based on
No,
skills. That was the argument
no.
of 10 years ago.
This is just discrimination.
It is, yeah. Oh, and good, they're getting smacked for it. So you know what?
Twenty
They
six
deserve
million.
it. There you
That's
go.
a That's a bar tab for them, but still. All right. Well, with President Trump being inaugurated earlier in the week, we could do an entire show on all of his executive orders that have
Yeah,
impact work,
a
like
lot.
not the other stuff, but a lot
Actually,
of
a lot of them do.
a lot of them
A
do.
lot of them do. We
Uh,
could. We
it
should.
we should do maybe let it settle for a couple months, but basically the bit that I wanted to kind of bring up today, and this is from Reuters, so you can go read about it yourself. President Trump names acting heads of the EEOC and NLRB, the agencies responsible for enforcing discrimination protections and
Right.
protecting his employees' rights to organize. So, those two agencies, we talked about it, I think, 2 or 3 weeks ago,
Hmm.
that, hey, listen, when Republicans get in power, this is what happens. When Democrats get in power, this is what
Hmm.
happens. So change, that's not unusual.
No.
That's the shift in the change. Like right now, the Democrats, technically, until all this plays out, they have a 2-to-1 majority, and it'll be a 2-to-1 majority Republican.
Right.
The Marvin Kaplan would lead the NLRB. Andrea Lucas would act as chair as the EEOC. Both Republicans, not unusual. Both support Trump's vision for how these agencies should be run.
Mm.
So get your popcorn ready. We're going to now look. I predict less unionization, fewer lawsuits, and less oversight. Good for employers, bad for employees. So it's going to open things up, and again, great for companies, great for
Yeah.
employers.
I should
Uh,
probably have a take on this. I don't. I
yeah,
haven't really looked at it.
not
So
yet. Oh,
yeah,
we'll see it. Well, I
yeah.
mean, we'll see in the
We
coming months.
we
We'll
will
see
see,
more of it.
and we'll have some people on the talk with us about it because yeah, we're gonna need to.
100%, one hundred
Um,
percent. We'll do a show on President Trump and work. That will be a fun show.
never gonna be fun. All right, carrying the theme, EEOC. They took their first stab at a subpoena for enforcement action under the PWFA. So this is the Pregnant
Mm-hmm.
Workers Fairness
Yeah,
Act. We've
yeah,
talked about this
yeah.
a couple of times.
Yep.
They've now issued their first subpoena to a company who I thought was local to me, but they're not. I see them every day. So they do have
Right.
a hub near me. R&L Carriers Shared Services. So the EOC is investigating allegations that the company discriminated against a driver based on sex and failed to provide her with reasonable accommodations
Right.
for limitations on
Yeah, yeah.
pregnancy.
Breastfeeding, all
Basically
the stuff
said,
that, yeah.
yeah, basically said, take a desk job or peace out is what they did, right? So,
That's
okay,
horrible.
yeah, we haven't grown up and matured in the world of work. I get it. But this is the first time, and this I think we started talking about this back in June, July
Mm-hmm.
timeframe, something like
Yeah,
that.
because there's been tons of suits that have been settled
Yeah,
because
I'm
of,
surprised this is the first time it's actually coming
yeah.
through. So
Oh, yeah.
interested
Hey,
to see where it's going to head out.
with the changeover, you can see that thing getting killed because the EOC will fundamentally change and not go after
Yeah,
companies.
I hope
That's
not because I mean it's I mean again,
this is something that should be protected. I
yeah,
mean,
and I can understand the issue. I can understand the challenge here, right?
yeah,
The boss, the person in charge wants to make sure that they might feel they're accommodating, right? They might feel that they're being
yeah,
accommodating by
yeah,
saying, hey, look,
but
you
not
can
by
work
law.
on a desk. You
Yeah,
don't have to do that because they don't
Sally,
want to see a pregnant
you come
woman get
here.
in and out of a 18 wheeler. I get it,
Yeah,
but
but
that's not the law,
that's not the
right? And
law.
so, yeah, you need to be better. You need to know the laws, number one.
It wouldn't
Um,
shock me if they legislate that law, if they do something with that law. That would not
well,
shock me at all.
we'll see. We'll see where it goes. But first time for
Yeah,
everything, and they finally took it through a lot longer than I thought it would.
this one threw me. So when I read the headline, I'm like, did I read that right? 62% of U.S. clinicians live paycheck to paycheck. So
Hmm.
this is on staffingindustry.com. So you go to that. So a clinician is someone who's involved in clinical practice. A physician is a professional who's licensed to practice medicine. So in general, a physician is a clinician, but not all clinicians are physicians. So think nurse practitioner, speech pathologist, psychologist, etc. So digging into the article is like, well, why? Why is it paycheck to paycheck? It seems
Hmm.
like there's we've been talking about these jobs and not having enough people to do this. What's happening in the staffing world is those folks are taking temp work over perm work because temp work pays more.
Oh.
And so, but temp work, not stable. So you take a temp work deal,
Mm.
and so it's like this, but you get paid more. Whereas if you take a perm in these positions,
Yeah.
if you take a perm job, it's stable, but it's less money. And it's like a
Well, and
like
less
a
flexible.
significantly different
Yeah.
money.
Yeah. And I think there's less flexibility in that, and people have grown. And
Right.
I almost think this was taboo 15
Yep.
years ago. When
100%.
oh, you're a temp worker, oh, you're a contractor, you're a
Oh, 100%.
consultant, means you're
Look down.
jobless.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
now now it's actually I think it's that title I think has evolved. I
Yeah.
think when I was in high school in school back in like the 80s and 90s, I think when you were a consultant, you were looked up on.
Oh,
You
100%.
were, oh, he's a consultant. Then it became you're a consultant. You're
Mm.
unemployed. You're doing your own bit. Now it's like it's acceptable again.
Yeah.
Like you're a consultant, you're a contractor. It's a flexibility. It's
What
like,
is what is old is new.
yeah, yeah,
What is new
no,
is old. So yeah, but
absolutely,
go read the article for the folks that
yeah,
are listening, watching, etc. Go listen and read the article because it's fascinating because it's just not what you'd think. When you think of that particular part of
yeah.
the market, you think scarcity. Obviously, pay has to be high just to deal with
Right.
scarcity. Not so much.
All right.
So anyhow,
All right. CEOs. This is a funny one. CEOs will be the last to manage all human workforces, says
hmm,
Mark Bainoff.
spinning off.
Um, Benioff. I
Yep,
call him
no
Bainoff.
worries.
Like God, they call. And I also say Pat, but it's
No, no, no,
uh,
no. Who was the guy in New York that stole all the money from people?
oh,
Uh,
Madoff.
Madoff.
Yeah.
That's what I heard when you first said
Yeah,
it.
no. Yeah, no. I totally just
Mark
butchered his
Benioff's
name.
completely different. All right, got it.
Very, very different. Yeah.
Yeah,
So, look, I don't disagree here, right? I think the crux here is that Salesforce projects 20%, over 20% of the jobs that they hire for will include, or jobs that sorry that will be hired in the workforce by 2030 will include AI collaboration
yeah, yeah. That
and
tracks, and they're investing in that too.
heavily, yeah,
Yeah,
heavily, and global AI adoption rates excuse me, will with 90% of enterprises investing in AI solutions in that same time frame.
yeah,
So what he's saying is managers are no longer going to be normal regular managers of old. They are now managing a hybrid workforce of both AI I hate saying robots, but AI assistants,
yeah, yeah. Yeah.
those types,
Pilot.
digital
Yeah,
employees and human employees. And that is a very different management structure.
yeah,
And it got me to think, what questions do we need to ask of managers now? Can you just do battlefield promotions? Can you bring in a really good, ops manager who's or performing well and promote someone to an ops manager? They may not be able to run the technology or
yeah.
understand it as good
Right.
just because we've always had the issue of high performers become a manager and then they shit the bed as a manager because they're not managers. They haven't been trained as a manager. This is going to be very, very different. And I think we're going to see a whole new breed of managers with a different skill set.
They have to.
They
They
have
have
to,
to.
that we would not have seen a couple of years ago now have opportunity.
Right. Well, they don't have to have. I mean, the crazy thing is sociopaths and psychopaths now have a career path in the sense
It's a
of
really good point. It's a
they
really good point. I like that better than
they don't have empathy
I like
because they're
that
dealing with
better.
machines. So
Yeah,
you know what?
yeah,
Maybe
yeah. I like
maybe they
that
were
better than when you say humanities and all and arts and all that. I'm going with psychopaths and
sociopaths. Done.
sociopath and psychopaths. That's
Yeah,
it.
hey,
That's the
dude,
new breed.
career path for those folks out there
Yeah,
because they don't have empathy, and with robots, you don't have to have empathy.
it's very true.
So you were a terrible leader with a human workforce. You'll be a
Amazing.
great leader with a robot work for.
Yeah, yeah. It's really something. Like if
Gotta
I
see the
was,
positivity.
yeah, if I was still in the world of corporate somewhere, I would thrive
Oh, 100%.
as a manager. I thought I did well, like with people, but there's a
I was
point.
always horrible with people.
There's a point of like you're just too fucking stupid. Like
No, I
stop. Like
seriously, I
yeah, I
always
know
throughout my
you.
entire career
I
horrible.
would quit day one if I ever. No, no.
It just would. I'm just not good at it. I mean, I realized very early in my life, in my
Yeah,
career, that I'm just not good at that. That's just not my
yeah.
thing.
Not a shot in hell, dude.
Not a shot now.
Not a
All
shot in
right,
hell.
so this is filed us into. Not a lot of people are going to cry for these folks.
No.
However, Ivy League MBA graduates face more challenging job markets.
Oh.
Yep. 3 months after graduating Harvard last spring, 23% of job seeking MBAs were still seeking employment. That's a fourth. So
Mm-hmm.
you have 100 kids graduating. That's 25. It's a big number.
Yeah.
It got me thinking about my own MBA. I graduated in '99, which was kind of the birth of the more popularized mainstream internet, if you
Mm-hmm.
will. And I'm not sure if I'd earn an MBA in the same way that taking 2 years off and doing that. With this era of work, I'm not sure I'd even think about an MBA. I might even think about a BA or BS.
Mm-hmm.
With this era of work, I might just go straight into skills development and not even think about the degrees.
Yeah.
But shocking, not shocking. MBAs are expensive hires.
Yeah.
So this 23% bill could be as simple as just the economy,
Yeah.
or it could be a paradigm shift. I want us to keep a track of this in that, okay, in a tight economy,
Mm-hmm.
they're not hiring MBAs. Okay, well, that's happened several different times over the last 40 years. Okay, but what happens when things loosen up? Are they going to go and hire MBAs? And this is McKinsey and Bain. Like, these are big companies.
Yeah.
So I think we need to just keep an eye on, like, I think just education degrees in general
Yeah.
are almost outdated. Not all,
Yeah.
not all, not all,
How
but
much of this do you think is an MBA graduating knowing what they've paid, knowing what they have to pay back and what they're staring at in the face?
it's hard to get the return on investment
Right. How much of
anywhere.
the right, and how much is of that is driving them not to maybe they're just not accepting the
Yeah,
jobs because the income, the salary isn't
could be.
there as promised, right? And they're waiting and
Absolutely,
holding out.
100%. I mean, you're 250,
Yeah.
coming out of Ivy League, you might be more than that, but with all the debt that you carry now, my MBA was paid for, so I didn't really have to
Hmm.
deal with any of that stuff. However, I'm just looking at the time investment. If I would have taken those 2 years and moved out to San Francisco and just jumped into the .com stuff, it would have been a different, it would have
Sure.
been a different experience. Now I wouldn't have. I'll tell you, the MBA taught me a lot of things. Mostly, it taught me the ability to ask questions. So on top
Hmm.
of the humanities degrees, I could then formulate really quickly
Right.
how to ask and answer questions. So it did that. It helped me manage high performers. So in
Mm.
most of the situations that we do, there's a lot of group work. In most of those situations, I'd raise my hand to lead the group because I had a lab coat on. I wanted to learn how to manage people that are all high performers.
Right.
So I needed to learn that skill set because I'd never done that. But it's also frameworks, things like that. But it's a degree to some degree. It's a degree in common sense. Like
Hmm.
I learned most of what I know about business from Walmart. So like that's how I
Right.
learned business.
Yeah.
But
I think most people do.
in MBA, the MBA that I got in particular, it helped because like 60% of our class was international students. So I went to a school that really focused on international students, and I had never been, growing up in Texas, I'd never really been exposed
Hmm.
to the rest of the world. So and I knew that. That's actually one of the things that drew me to Case is I wanted to be around people from all over the world,
Right.
and learn like, oh shit, I can't say
Well,
that.
and
My
look where it
bad.
got you, sitting here with me. Just
Yeah,
saying, it did really well
it
for
did.
you.
It did. It did.
And now it's time for the plum stat of the show. When people flourish, business thrives. Unlock the benefits of 360-degree talent insights at plum.io.
All right, William, you ready for this?
I am indeed.
All right. According to Plum's research,
Okay.
engaged employees. Hold on, let's restart that. That sounded too contrived.
Yay!
So how's it go? The Plum stat of the day. All right. All right, William. Here we go. According to Plum's research, engaged employees
Okay.
experience a 68% decrease in feelings of burnout versus their stressed out counterparts.
That
How do we
tracks.
get more people to be engaged at work?
Well, it's highly personal. So engagement is not a cookie cutter.
Yeah.
It's not one thing. Because so what makes you engaged is not going to make me. And so it's really
Mm-hmm.
different. It's really difficult in this sense. It's by person, by that moment of time. Meaning
Mm.
you can't just blanket and go, okay, we're going to run this program and everyone will now be engaged. You have to understand the drivers and the motivators of that particular person at that particular moment, which
Yeah.
changes like we, change our socks. So I think the thing is it tracks. So I think the
Mm-hmm.
research is great because it tracks. If you're engaged, you're not thinking about burnout because you love what
No.
you're doing. It's like, oh, man, I'm jacked. This is
Yeah.
fun. Let's do more of this. You're not thinking about I'm working 80 hours
Yeah. Do you have to
or
love what you're doing to be engaged?
no, you do
Yeah, I
not.
don't think so.
No, you just got to be inspired.
It's gotta be
You got
fun, and yeah,
you yeah, yeah. If you're like in it, you and I have done this with work before. You jump into something and you lose time.
yeah,
That's
yeah.
engagement. Now,
Right.
do you love the company? Do you love your boss? Do you love the job? Maybe not. But for that moment, you lose time. Like years ago, actually all of my life, when I play pool, when I shoot pool, it's the only time that I lose time.
I could totally see you in a pool hall,
Dude, I've been in a pool all of my life.
cigar,
Yeah, 100%. All my
an
life.
old fashioned or something like that in your
Grew
hand,
up, grew up in
and
a pool hall. I can play one-handed. I can play
I am
one-armed.
not
So I'm,
good.
I'm one of those people. But when I go into a pool hall, even today, when I go into a pool hall, it could be 2 o'clock and I blink and it's 11 o'clock at night. And I haven't
No,
thought at all about it. And it's not about drinking or any of the other stuff. I lose time because I'm in the game.
you're engaged.
I'm engaged.
Yeah,
So I think that tracks. And again, engagement isn't necessarily a thing. It's the retention of that talent
yeah,
over time that is the real thing. But on the way to that, you've got to you can't let them burn out. So I think as a manager, you understand, okay, what is going to get this person excited about this job so that they lose time and they don't think about that other stuff.
yeah.
And so it's hard. Engagement is not easy. Anyone that thinks that
No,
it is, it's not.
no. That
So
might be one of. I think engagement might be one of the toughest jobs
it
that
is.
we've come across that that we research and study. We should probably study it a bit more. It probably,
It is
yeah,
difficult because people will do it with pulse surveys. And it's like, okay, at
yeah,
that particular moment, it's like you in the airport. I
yeah.
came out of security, smiley face.
Boop. Yeah.
All of a sudden, I go down to the terminal and the
Sad
flight's
face.
canceled. Sad face. It's like
Mm-hmm.
at that moment, there's a Polaroid. I'm
Yeah.
happy, and so it's got to be in real time. It's got to be personalized, and that is very difficult. But I do like your idea about losing time
Hmm.
and just being interested in the work or the project or who
Right.
you're working with, like whatever it is, just be losing time. So I love it. I love the research. Good for Plum.
And there you go, the plum stat of the show.
I love my experience at Case. Cleveland, not as much, but
No. All right.
Case, yes. All right.
Let's get
So
some acquisition talk in here. What do you
I think
got? Let's
we've
kick us
got
off.
three. So Snappy acquires swag gifting startup
Yeah,
cover
I
with
saw that.
two V's, COVVER, as it rolls up these players. So this is on TechCrunch, so you can go and put Snappy
Mm-hmm.
or Cover, and you'll gather that. So what you have with this acquisition is a corporate swag giant swallows up a competitor. And you could say they augment each other, but really they were doing some of the same stuff. So something that for the audience to nibble on is the corporate gifting world swag
Mm-hmm.
is about $260 billion.
It's a big one. Yeah.
It's a big one. Snappy works with a ton of the Fortune 1000. Solid acquisition. I really love it for both teams.
Yeah.
And it looks like they have a good partnership anyhow, so good for them.
Yeah. It really is. It's an interesting market.
Yeah.
And the play, if you get in there and play with the softwares, I love it. I love picking my
Did you
gifts.
did you say softwares?
So I did. I said it purposely this time. No.
Oh, okay.
I just want to see if you caught it. All right. I didn't say it purposely yesterday, or Friday, or Thursday, whatever it was.
I'm like, software? Did you just say software? I couldn't
Oh
help
God.
myself. Like when you said
Yeah.
it on that live stream,
Yeah. What is
I'm
that?
like,
Thursday. Yeah.
did he just say softwares?
I did.
Like we
I
work
did.
together. Like
Software is one of the words that I
these
constantly throughout my life just said. Softwares.
well these all these mices.
All,
What?
all these mices and these deers running around. I always get confused. Is it horsies or is it just horse? All right, let me get back to ServiceNow. ServiceNow, ServiceNow plans to acquire a company called QN.
Hmm.
So this is a workflow play, right? So
Ah,
ServiceNow,
yeah.
and so QN does some. They really do some cool things, and so they help improve customer experience. This is where they work in customer experience. They look at all the interactions across. Um, Chat, voice, email, all the different channels
Oh,
that
cool.
customer interactions come in through, and they analyze that. How do we make it better? How do we make it quicker? How do we make it, how do we treat our customers better?
That's
It's
a
real
great
time
that's a great
insights.
acquisition
Yeah. Oh,
because it can help with sales. It can help with support.
everything. Sales,
Everything.
support across the
Genius.
board. And obviously with ServiceNow, this is a workflow deal. So I like it. I'm
Yeah, I
excited
love it.
for it. I didn't see any data on cost and all that stuff. I think it's more of a plan at this point.
Yeah, they
But
don't acquisitions. They don't really. That's
yeah,
not their bit. They don't want to release the numbers
yeah.
or
But
keep that stuff
I
in
like it.
house.
I want to
Oh,
watch
I
this
love the
one.
acquisition.
Yeah.
I
They've done
love the
some
acquisition.
ServiceNow's been doing some cool things, and we got to
Yeah.
meet with them back in HR Tech, and we did some
Oh
stuff.
yeah.
Or was it after that? It was somewhere
We had a
around there.
podcast with Gretchen.
Gretchen, yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, there you go.
HR Path acquires INT Sys Solutions, probably built by a person that's a technician. Okay, so this is strengthening their workday expertise and expanding their presence in Northern Ireland. So that's at hr-path.com. So you go look up all the bit. Now, their name looked familiar when I was looking at the acquisition. I'm like, man, I know something about HR Path. What do I know about HR Path? So I went back in, and we've talked about since we've been doing the BARF, coming up on a year. We've talked about this is the third time we've talked about HR Path.
Mm-hmm.
First time we talked about them is they received a massive funding. I think it was $500 million.
Yeah.
Second was another acquisition like this one. So what I gather is as what I'm looking at, went through their website, tool around, is my gut tells me that this is a roll up. That's why the big round, and this is the idea: is there's all these different little players that are out doing all this cool shit. Let's just roll them all up,
Right.
take them public. So, but congratulations to everybody involved.
Yeah.
Like I got no hate. Roll ups can be super effective. So.
Yeah.
HR
It could also
Path.
go the other way.
Oh, yeah,
We've seen that.
Seen that. But take a look at HR Path for the audience. Take a look at them and just kind of see what they're doing.
All right. HR Path. I'm going to check it out. All right.
HR.
I'm going to move our attention to research and talk about some things that are going to make us smarter or sadder in this case. All right. Nearly half of employers eye potential layoffs in 2025.
Yeah, I saw that. That sucks.
So this one I found on resumetemplates.com. It came through some searching I was doing.
Yeah,
It's
they
actually a
do
pretty
a
cool site.
they do a lot of good research. Well, it's surveys, but they do a lot
Yeah.
of good stuff like that.
Yeah, they do, and it's right up their alley. But it's actually a pretty cool site. I'm not sure I'd buy a resume template though.
No,
Wondering
never.
what they're going to be doing.
Yeah,
They're
exactly.
surviving, I
It's
guess.
a good
Research.
time
I don't
to
know.
change the name
Yeah,
to something else.
yeah.
Yeah,
So anyhow, 46% of employers are considering layoffs in 2025, and they're calling this an inflation, recession, fear-driven
yeah,
workforce pivot in air quotes. Um, so that's that. 46% are bracing for the layoffs. One in four leaders cite rising operational costs as the reason.
yeah. That's easy.
Yeah.
That's an easy excuse. I think, just like what we learned with Stripe, out of the failure of what they did,
Hmm.
it's 300 of 11,000. That that's just a shift
Yeah.
that could be just as easy as like, okay, we're getting rid of some players to then add a players. What we
Right.
don't know in that scenario is they let go 300, but they added 600 in a different role
Correct.
and doing something different, etc.
Correct.
But the story is they laid off, and the way they did it, both with cartoons
Yeah.
and with the wrong date. That's that's
Yeah.
just dumb.
Yeah. But I think that's important. You bring up an important point though. And it's one I know we talk about the layoff stories because people want in our industry they want to know this and they would need to know this,
Right,
especially in certain sectors. But there is another side to layoffs. Layoffs
right,
aren't always a bad thing, right? Companies are in the game to make money, right? If
right.
companies aren't there, then we're not here, kind of, right? Like, well, I guess we're here,
It's
but
the game.
yeah, it's the game, and so you're right.
That's the only game.
Yeah,
Like if you want to be a hardcore capitalist, the only reason companies exist is to make money.
to make money.
That's it.
That's it. But
That's why they
300 go if they're going to hire 600 more,
right.
right? So I mean, it's not, and those 300 could be highly underperforming,
That's right. That's
right?
what
Not
kept.
everybody that gets laid off is like
Well, that's
make that very clear. Get that.
well, like you and I have talked about this. Turnover, not a bad word.
Regrettable
Re-
turnover.
Regrettable turnover. So what we don't know is are these regrettable layoffs? Like are these
Correct.
people they really want to keep, but just
Yeah.
budget. They just
Yeah.
couldn't keep them. Okay,
Nope. I
but
think that'd be a good area for us to study.
I
Regrettable
think
layoffs.
I think the thing for us is when we looked at it. I think when Trump was elected, actually somewhere around there, we looked at COC growth with a
Yeah.
Republican,
Hmm.
dominated Congress, Senate, and President, Supreme Court. They see growth. So what's interesting is you see layoffs now, and
Hmm.
then you think to yourself, you know what? We're going to see a rise in recruiting, crazy rise in recruiting because companies they haven't for three
Right.
years, and they're going to need to hire now. They're not going to hire the same people they were going to hire 3 years ago. They're going to hire
Correct.
people that have these new skills,
Right.
like Benioff was saying.
Hmm.
So,
Not
yeah,
paying off.
made off. What?
Keep
All right,
walking.
40. Nothing to see here. So, 46% of U.S. employees would quit their jobs if they could not work remotely.
I'm gonna call BS on that before we even go further. I think that's a lot of
Oh,
people talking hard. You
I,
all
I
need jobs. Shut it.
dude, I first of all, I had to say, this is at Pew Research .org. So if you want
Hmm.
to go read the whole study, fascinating stuff. I just plucked out one thing. Um, I call bullshit on it in the same way. So first of all, it's a considerable number, 50%.
Yeah.
That's legit. I'm assuming that what this is really is about white collar professional jobs, not blue collar jobs, right?
Well, yeah,
Because
because
they can't
mostly
work
they, yeah.
remotely. Okay. So are these the same now this is what I really want to get your take on. Are these the same people that are scared that their job will be augmented or automated out of a job?
Probably a good chunk of them, yeah. I
So
think probably a good chunk,
why would that number be that high if they fear losing their job? And I don't have
because
any I don't you know what I'm saying?
entitlement. Entitlement. COVID has entitled us to not want to go to work. I mean, if I stood
I,
up right now, you don't want to see what I'm wearing. Like that's just no. I'm just kidding. I'm actually dressed. I always wear the same shit, shorts and a sweatshirt. But but I do. I think it's entitlement, and I think people grew to love being at home. And now when you
generational.
generational, but also when you break it down, white collar, blue collar, etc.
Yeah,
Most of our white collar workers work for, well, not most, but I say you have a good chance of working with a global or international
yeah,
company.
right.
And so you see your colleagues and counterparts in the UK, in London, in India, like taking set. I just had, there's a designer that we work with. She's on vacation now,
Yep.
and she doesn't get back till February 17th.
I don't hate that at all.
No, I don't hate that, but when's the last time you did that?
2010, summer of 2010.
Well, that's a long time ago.
It was.
Right?
It was
Surprised
a
you did that,
forever ago.
but it was a forever ago, right? Like, and I think what's happening is now this is the revolt, right? COVID forced us quicker to be at home.
But
I
it's
don't
the
want to go back, and I
clash.
want these benefits.
It's the clash of automated and augmented jobs being lost, right?
Yeah.
So we know that I mean, everyone's saying the same thing. Like, okay, some jobs are going to be lost, but it's also going to create a lot of new jobs.
Yeah.
Okay, but if RTO is like a deal breaker for you,
hmm
okay, what are those folks going to do? I mean, are these the new entrepreneurs?
No,
And
they're
they're
going
going
to
to just
complain that the economy sucks. They're going to be jobless. They're going to not be able to pay their bills, and then they're going to go have to work somewhere and not get paid
I don't
enough
disagree
because
with
they
you, by the
can't get
way.
a job.
I'm laughing, but I don't disagree.
Right?
I don't
Like
disagree
then
at
then they're
all.
going to say, "Well, the incomes are so low, salaries are." You had a job that paid well. You
Yeah,
decided not to go. I get it. Would I go to
choice.
an office? I don't want to, but if I
Yeah,
had to, yeah,
dude.
I'm
If
getting
you
in the car and going to the office.
especially if you've got responsibilities, you got kids, wife, luxury cars, private school, whatever the bits are that you do,
Yeah,
your hobbies, etc. You do whatever the hell you got to do.
do what you got to do.
You got
And
to do.
sometimes humble pie is good.
Could be. All
Yeah.
right. So
All
what
right.
else?
Whatever. That's my cancellation for today.
100%.
Um, work, workers will job hop for better pay in 2025. This is
Yeah.
a study from Robert Half. So, according to Robert Half, 44% of U.S. workers are eyeing, in air quotes for those that are not watching, eyeing
Yes.
greener pastures based on a slightly higher salary. Number of 60% are chasing higher salaries.
I don't hate that,
No, and that's the way it
especially
should
if
be.
you're a high performer. You've hunkered down for the last 3 years, and all of a sudden now
Yeah,
there's a little bit of a bump, and you want to kind of get back out in the market. Yeah,
yeah,
you know what? A lot of people still subscribe and believe strongly that you have to move up, you have to move out. So if you
nah,
really want to move up, you go. This is in the ad agency
yeah.
world. Historically, you don't stay with the same agency. You do account manager,
hmm
then you go over here, become and then you just kind of keep going to different firms to kind of
Yeah,
get to that place.
yeah. Well, you've always drawn. I don't know why I'm giving you more credit here,
You
but
should not do
it
that.
hurts me sometimes to fucking
Never
do this.
do that.
But you've always compared this to free agency,
Yeah,
and it really is. When you look at this, this is the era of free agency, right? This is, yeah, I can go out on the job market, and if I can get 30% higher, and you don't want to give me 30% more to keep me,
right. Do
yeah,
we hate players when they get a salary?
no, they're
Especially
celebrated.
exactly
They're
like
celebrating. God, a quarterback leaves who's getting 50 million, gets 150 million. No, God bless you. Like,
exactly.
yeah, you
Well, I
deserve
always with
that.
football in particular, I always look at the guaranteed amount because football contracts
Yeah, it's a
are,
little.
are insane,
Yeah,
but it's the guarantees. Like, how much money am I actually getting? Not,
yeah,
it's a 5 year, 400 million. Yep, totally get it.
yeah,
How much am I getting today?
yeah, yeah. Well, you're guaranteed 150, but then you have all these incentives.
Dude, if my kids were sports oriented in baseball and soccer in particular, in those two areas, those are guaranteed contracts. So
No,
when you see Ronaldo got a 5-year contract at
It's guaranteed.
700. Oh no, he's gonna get every dollar.
Yeah.
So same as is true of baseball.
Yeah. Oh,
Like
baseball is. Yeah.
I Pujols when he moved from
That was a
remember?
contract. Yeah.
Oh, that was a doozy. When he moved from St. Louis to the Angels, I can't remember what the amount was, but at the time it was staggering. And it's
Yeah.
like he's going to get every dollar.
Yeah.
He could be on the injured reserve. He
It
could
doesn't
not even
matter.
play. Doesn't
Yeah.
matter. He's getting his dollars.
Yeah.
Football's not the same.
Football, basketball. Yeah. And
Yep.
football, of all the sports, football should have
Yeah,
more guaranteed money there. But
100%.
we
Got
can
the
talk
most
for
violence.
days on that.
Slingshot report found that 80% of employers believe their communication goal, they communicate goals effectively. Only 20% of employees feel informed about objectives.
Wait a minute. All right. 80% of employers say we do a hell of a job. 20% of employees say, yeah, kind of, maybe.
No, not.
Yeah.
So this is
Huh.
on Work Life News, worklife.news. So this is the 80-20 rule that if you've
Literally
learned through your life,
20.
but in a really awful way.
Yeah.
And this is the disconnect that we've seen play out in a lot of different ways. How do employees not know the business goals in
Yeah.
this digital era? Now, I'll sidetrack just for a second. When I worked at Walmart, I started at Walmart when I started like as a buggy clerk, as a cashier. So I started at the bottom, moved to the top, like Drake.
I was just literally singing that in my head when you said that.
You know what I'm saying? So the thing is on the end caps of every end cap in Walmart back then, they'd have a dot on it, and it would say what the margin is.
Mhm.
And so we do. This is really going to date me, and it's going to kind of make fun of me. But every morning you do the Walmart cheer, like it was a bit. Every
Mhm.
employee, didn't matter where you work, you all got up in the front end and you all did the Walmart cheer. And so, yeah, okay, I get it. All right, whatever. But they actually, the store manager, assistant store managers would actually talk about product at those meetings
Mhm.
every day. Hey, listen, we got an extra shipment of this, whatever it is. Who cares? We got an extra shipment of this. It's going to be really important to us to push this today. Listen, it's 37% margin on this product. If you see anybody, if you can talk to anybody, if you know anybody that
Mhm.
needs it, like they would talk like that, like
Yeah.
just straight out. Hey man, we got this extra stuff. We're pushing, just like a restaurant's pushing shrimp,
Yeah.
right?
It's
We're
not that
pushing
way
this.
anymore.
It's insane. Like, and again,
Yeah.
as an employee, as a lowly cart gatherer, cashier, or whatever the bit I was at the time, I knew what the business goal, that store goal,
Yeah.
I knew what the business goal was. Make
Yeah.
money.
Well, it's a great it's a great way to bring people into the business and to grow
Yeah,
them in the business. I mean, the you know it's the I mean it's different now than it was then.
right.
But I had a look because they post their general manager of the store real nice and big up there, and
Oh yeah,
and I'm and I know you're running a big operation like Walmart. All jokes aside, a Walmart supercenter is pretty big fucking operation, right?
I'm making about
And
$250,000 a week
a
in
week,
revenue.
yeah, a
A
week,
week.
and
Yeah.
so
Products churning.
GMs are 300K plus
Oh yeah.
of a store of one store, and I'm
Uh,
like
I worked in an era where you actually got a percentage of revenue.
Well, that's what I was gonna say, right? So why, and that's how it was when I was with Enterprise. I got a
Yeah.
percentage of my branch's revenue, which is why I
Right.
worked my ass off and I washed
Yeah.
cars in suits like an idiot, right?
100%.
Probably the best
100%.
job I ever had. Like it was like it really. If I didn't get in 3 accidents, I'd probably
Yeah.
still
Yeah.
be
Yeah.
there. That's it. I'd be podcasting about cars. Why not? Why would Walmart not want to have an incentive program for different departments to understand margin, to understand, hey, we're
That's
overstocked on this, and
80% of the employers are saying, "Yep, they get it. We do a great job.
yeah,
They get it." 20%
20%.
of the workforce saying, like, I have no idea what
Yeah, well,
what do we even do?
there you go. Research of stupidity, I guess.
That's insane. I mean, you almost have to do that bit in communications where you have them. I saw a Bobby Knight video actually the other day where he says, "Listen, you got a 2-minute huddle. and you're about to play a play, bring all your players into the huddle and give them note cards, and you write out what you want them to do, what the play is,
Mm-hmm.
and then you run the play, come back, and you can then look at the note card and know who's stupid.
Well, there you go.
And it's classic Bobby Knight, right?
Yeah.
But he's basically saying, listen, you only have 2 minutes during the huddle. Timeout.
Right.
You only have that 2 minutes to
Mm-hmm.
convey, here's what needs to be done. And if the person doesn't hear what you're saying, doesn't understand what you're saying, and this is corporate communications 101, you have to repeat. Okay, what did you hear?
Yeah.
We said, but what did you hear?
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
oftentimes they didn't hear you.
Yeah.
It wasn't that they didn't communicate. So
Yeah.
I think the corporate communications folks are wonderful. I think during COVID they did an absolutely Herculean
Yeah.
job. However, they're not closing the loop on that and
Mm-hmm.
asking employees to go, okay, we just sent out an email. Everybody got it.
Right.
Let's make sure we all agree and all
Yeah.
understand what we just said.
Well, they
So
sent the email. That was
yeah,
it. Right. And a lot of them
that's
are
it.
checking boxes. Yeah.
That's
Unfortunately.
not enough. That's not enough.
All right. Time to talk money.
Money.
Bring us down to some funding dollars. What do we got?
Dottie. DOTIAI. I don't. It could be Doty. Dottie.
I was thinking that, but Dottie
Yeah.
sounds right.
It sounds right? $7 million in seed funding for instant access to internal company data. So once you dig into this, it's basically your data inside of a company is all siloed. It's in all of these different applications. It's on a server. It's all this stuff. What this does is lay on top of that, and then an employee can then access questions. It's like prompts, so he can actually prompt and get data from everywhere internally.
Hmm.
And so they can get to data that they didn't have access to before. So it's all permission based. So no one's like,
Mm-hmm.
all right, so you can get it faster, they can get it more reliably, and it's secure. So I found this actually on securityweek.com because of the security part. It's like, because now you're actually opening
Right.
up all these silos. It's got to be secure. Like, it's got to be the right people getting access to the right stuff.
Yeah.
But good for them. I think it's a cool
Yeah.
play. I think it's Israeli based. Doesn't really matter. I don't really care
Probably
where
in Tel
companies are
Aviv,
based.
like everything is now.
Right. I generally don't care about where a company
No.
is, but in this case, it's just a cool play. So
Nice.
take a look at them.
All right. All right. Work era. I was gonna say work era. Work era.
Work Terra.
Work
Yep.
era. Work era. Lands an investment from Accenture,
Yeah.
which I think is pretty significant. They didn't mention deal terms or anything like that.
Right.
But Accenture is a big fish, right? And they're putting some weight behind this. And so I think what we're going to see here, this is a power move for me. I think this is a move about scale. We're here, we're ready to go. I think we just talked about this on Thursday on the live stream with SAP with skills, right? We talked about skills. Here's a player now that's got some muscle behind it.
I love it. I love consulting firms getting smarter about this new world, because then it puts them in a role in the position to actually teach companies and get paid. I mean,
well, and get paid, but 20 years they're thinking 10, 15, 20 years ahead.
Oh,
and
100%.
They have to, and this is a primary example of why would they do this? Well, it makes sense to us, maybe not to, some, it might not make sense to everybody, but in 10 years, you're going to look back and say,
that's a good investment.
That was a good investment, because now look at everything we've done for the last decade and a half, and look at what it drove us.
It'd be real interesting to look at the major consulting firms and what they've invested in.
Yeah.
Not just bought or acquired, but what they're investing in terms of all of the things that they're investing in.
Yeah.
Because they're future-proofing their business.
Yeah,
to some degree. And they're all doing the same. I mean, they're not doing the same thing, but they're all going about it. And because, I mean, we go back through and look at funding and see probably 10 firms that have been acquired by consulting firms.
Yeah.
And I like it, because you're right. They have to see 15 years
That's why they get paid.
15 years. That's right. So they come back to companies and go, you're 15 years behind.
Yeah. Yeah. This is your consulting of the 90s, not the 2012s.
100%, baby. All right. So borderless AI
Yeah.
raises another 5 million, bringing their total funding to 30 million. Basically, this is an extension. So this is fintech.global. So you can go kind of read a little bit more about kind of the raise. So borderless AI, for those that don't follow them, they focus on streamlining HR processes through generative AI, enabling businesses to automate tasks such as onboarding, payroll, and international payments.
Hmm.
What I've been looking at with borderless AI and other kind of their competitors is what other processes are they going to tackle?
Yeah.
So this was, I think it was a $22 million raise at one point, or $27 million raise. And this is just an extension, which basically means either a current investor or a new investor basically said, we want in on that.
Yeah. They're doing good. We see the value here.
Yep. 27 million was raised. Yep. We didn't get
Let's.
in, or somebody took another stake. Like one of their current investors basically
Hmm.
said, yeah, I want in. And
Right.
so they opened it up. So good for them. So first of all, congratulations to them. And I also love what they're doing in terms of augmentation and automation.
Yeah. There you go.
Do it.
All right. I've got one here that I like a lot.
All right, bring it.
I don't know Teal. The company's name is Teal. They raised 7.5 million Series A. I don't know them. I've never spoken to anybody there, but this is a resume tailoring process or
Mm-hmm.
software singular. It's a resume tailoring software. So you want to apply to a job, tailor your resume. You want to apply to 10 jobs, tailor your resume. This is AI based, of course, and all of that. This I love. I love this because I hate the debate. I absolutely hate and despise the debate. Job seekers should not tailor their not tailor,
Right,
shouldn't be able to do it in volume. Should
right.
should I as a job seeker be able to apply to 20 jobs today at with a click of a button? Yeah, I
100% you
should.
should. Yeah,
If you can disposition me as a candidate in volume because your ATS said I don't meet these thresholds, then yeah, I should be able to apply and tell you I meet those thresholds
that's right.
and have software help me do
It
that. And so
creates, I
that's what
mean,
Teal does.
it creates noise. So for recruiters and, for the people that have to deal with the volume,
Hmm.
it's a little hard. Now, of course, they've got automation tools that then kind of get it down to
Yeah.
does that person actually have those skills and all that type of stuff. Um, but again, I like the personalization. It's also when as I read it as well, it's AI capabilities that give people the resource to thrive
Yeah.
and grow in their career. So, like you've been talking about for a while, an AI assistant that's thinking about your career management.
Yeah.
And this has been kind of an age-old kind of discussion of it does the company help you manage your advancement, or is it
Yeah.
your responsibility to manage your advancement? And
Yeah.
what they're doing at Teal is you've got an assistant right here
Right.
helping you
Gonna help you.
24/7. They,
What
they,
was
that
what
helps
was
you with your advancement.
what was a company we spoke with? They did the passport on credentials and you took it with you
Oh
from
yeah, yeah, yeah.
what
I
was the
can't
name of that
remember.
company?
No idea.
God, I can't remember. I have to go back. That's these are the types of tools I want to see
100%.
in 25, 26. Like,
It's enabling employees and candidates
yeah,
to be more successful,
yeah,
giving
enable
them a
like
shot.
yeah, why not build your employee's resume whether they're with you or not? Like why not give them the skills they need and then put it on their resume for them and
Right.
show if you're good they're going to stay. And that's what it comes
Well,
down to.
see, I think it's the age-old argument 100 years ago against training that CFOs and CEOs would use. If we
Right.
train them, they'll leave.
Right. Yeah, let's just train them for this, not
That's right.
all of this.
Right, right, right,
Let's
right.
make sure they can go A to B, but they can get to C. We're in trouble.
Yeah. Good for Teal. And then you've got Netrodon.
Oh shit. All right, I saw the blue. All right, let me mark this. 5625. Dang it.
It's okay.
Almost got through with no editing.
Hmm.
Motherfucker.
I have to say it's her fault. There you go.
Do 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 do.
Do 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 do
What did I
do do
say it was
do
at?
do.
It was right
Now,
after teal, right?
do we need to have a show on cars? and like pick our favorite cars
Uh
and go head to head, top 10.
huh. I like the Chevy
I've already,
Cavalier.
dude, I've already got my car. I've already got a list. I've already got a list, literally, of the cars that I'd buy. So I'm ready whenever you're ready. So what I'm really trying to say. Netrodyne rims with Sensodyne or Paradigm.
All right,
Well,
so cut the pause. All right.
after Teal and before Netrodyne because
Yep.
you forgot where you were.
Yep.
Yes.
Well, I didn't put that. I just said after teal. All right.
Okay.
Well, we should do like, oh
Sure.
shit, we got it. God dang it.
What? Oh,
We
the
fig-
plum stat of the day. Well, we'll just record it separately. It's okay.
I know, but it was like right here. We could have just did it.
That's all right.
We got to get. You know what? I'm gonna hook up the Roadcaster
Ah,
so I have the fucking buttons right in front of me. I don't have to search.
right.
All right, come back in. Netrodyne.
Get your,
All right,
what you
William. Let me ask you a question.
got? Okay.
Have you ever driven to your destination, whatever you're going, church, home, the store, to not know how you got there? Like you
Oh,
just
all the time.
got there and you're like, fuck,
100%.
how did I get here?
Yeah. Especially when I was younger.
Yeah. That still happens to me sometimes. I'm
Oh,
like,
yeah. Oh, yeah.
like it's kind of freaky, right? Like it's
That's
like,
Bass Pro? How did I get here?
yeah,
Yeah.
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 Like there's some times where I'm like, I joke around, but the other times I'm like, holy crap. And
Oh,
like,
yeah.
I wasn't tired. Like I wasn't falling asleep. Like I
Right.
just got here. Well, anyway, all right. Netrodyne raised $90 million in a Series D funding.
Okay.
So Netrodyne keeps drivers safe and fleets safe. They do a whole bunch of stuff. I just want to focus on this one thing though.
Right.
There's so much to unpack with these guys that they do, but think of technology, video, analysis,
Yeah.
sounds, all that stuff inside of tractor trailers, inside of cars, or not cars,
Right.
trucks
They
and
do
vans
fuel
and fleets and
consumption. They
fuel
do all that
consumption,
stuff. Yeah.
all of that, distractions on the phone,
Mm-hmm.
things like that, right? So like I'm on the phone, oh, distraction sensed, things like that. I just want to focus on one thing though,
Okay.
on drowsy drivers. Where do I ask you the question? So for drowsy drivers, they trigger an alert by measuring what they call micro sleeps.
Hmm.
So blinks, haziness in the eyes, you're
Oh,
kind of
interesting.
drifting your head.
I don't hate that. So
You're
it's
at a
facial
red light.
recognition.
Yeah,
It's looking at you basically saying, where are you at? Are you
exactly. Yeah.
hopped
So
up
like,
on meth?
so
Yeah,
I'm
got it.
driving. I'm good. I feel good. I'm da. Oh, he's not blinking, or he's blinking too slow. His
I
blinks
love it.
aren't the same, and it measures that, and it says, "Hey,
I
driver,
love it.
you need to take a break."
I
Now,
love
there's
it
a
for
whole
so
host of
many
things that they
reasons.
do. This is just one
Well, the
piece.
thing is safety. It's not just safety for that driver and that cargo. It's safety for
No,
everyone else is out on the road, which means
everything.
that that's going to help their insurance cost,
Well,
right? Less
well, save
accidents,
lives. Yeah.
save lives, all that. Well, yeah. So
Yeah.
I was thinking about the cost, but
Yeah,
yeah,
yeah. But the other thing I like though is also on the phone. So if
yeah.
you're on your phone, it'll recognize it as a distraction, or if you're playing with the radio too much, it's a
Hmm.
distraction. If you're playing with the window too, like everything, not just, you know,
Radio's on your. It's like you should be able to get to it on your
on
on
your
your
wheel.
on
Yeah.
your wheel, right?
Yeah, yeah, yeah. Or through
But
your
it's
voice.
distracted driving to me because I grew up in an era of drinking and driving. So, like drinking and drugs and driving, drowsy driving. I think distracted driving is the totality of the other three. For
Yeah.
me, I think it's the future. So that I love tools like this that basically you're talking about drowsy, which is
Yeah.
fantastic. But you've also you can now blow into a tube and do a breathalyzer,
Yeah.
whether or not you're drunk or
To
whatever,
start your car.
to start your car, to
Mm-hmm.
start your truck.
Mm-hmm.
So I love this, and I again some privacy people are probably going to say, well, that's a little bit too much, etc.
Well, not
Um,
if you want to drive their 18 wheeler that's worth $15
yeah,
million.
Well, a
with
lot of
all the
them are
cargo.
technically their trucks that
Well,
they
yeah, owner operator, sure, yeah, yeah.
right, but
But
it's
these
their
are for
cargo.
fleets, yeah, yeah.
Yeah, it's
So
their cargo.
yeah,
So good for them. I love that play. I
yeah,
would have never seen that. So that's
yeah.
cool.
I do. I like it a lot.
Leap Expert. That's with a X. Pert. Raises 20 million
And
to
then L.
enhance. This is funny because we just talked about this. To enhance enterprise communication governance. So this is fintech.global, so you can go and take a look at the article. So this is Leap Experts communications platform. It transforms how business communicates by allowing relationship owners to interact with clients on their preferred messaging channels while maintaining strict governance, compliance, and security. So let's talk a little bit about what that means. So you're working at a company, and one of your clients is on WhatsApp, and that's their bit. They're just
Mm-hmm.
on WhatsApp. Okay, well, but you want to email them, blah blah blah. Well, before Leap Expert, you'd have to force them into your communication model.
Right.
With this, you can communicate with them in WhatsApp, and before you send that message, it actually goes through governance, compliance, and security
Before it heads out.
before it heads out. So it preempts any types of problems.
Mm-hmm.
So I think it's fantastic because it helps
Yeah.
customers, clients, because now you can meet them where they are, and you can also protect the company at the same time. So anything that's in
Yeah.
there that's racist, misogynist, or any other things in there, like you can nip that in the bud. So I love it. At 20 million, good for them.
Very nice. Well,
Leap, capital X, pert,
pert.
pert.
That's it. We're done. We barfed it out. We're good.
We did.
It is
It's a good
time
show,
to go see a big W, which I'm going to do, and
as
chow
you
down on
should.
my wings and do a.
Well, dude, I hope they win because I hate the
So do I.
Redskins more than I hate the Eagles. So
Well,
we're good.
that's good. I appreciate that.